mining, which is literally proof of waste. You're on purpose wasting energy.
I agree with you.
If you just change that to proof of weight, so in our system, the proof of work is proof of weight. You just lock up coins, and the longer you lock, the more of the inflation you get. The shorter you lock, the less of the inflation you get. So Bitcoin rewards people for hashing more, and HEX rewards people for holding longer. That's it. It's just a proof of work change. They're both systems that store and transmit value, that inflate, and they reward network participants with inflation for doing certain things. In Bitcoin, the miners buy electricity and hardware to cause pollution and then dump the price in order to be able to pay for it. That sucks. It's huge negative externality. It's bad for the environment. It's bad for the price. It's just terribly stupid. So HEX solves that to a degree by making the people that are already paying for that waste, the ETH network, more efficient by packing more value into it. And then Pulse does that even better by getting rid of proof of work entirely and just using proof of stake, which we know works because there's dozens of network that have dozens of billions of dollars for years and years, no problems. Works fine. No reason to do security theater and destroy the environment and dump the price to do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you that. I mean, I'm coming from the XRP world, right? The XRP ledger was literally created by Bitcoin developers that realized that the energy requirements of Bitcoin don't scale, right?
The higher the value network gets, the worse you destroy the environment. You're like, okay.
Yeah, and you got a similar problems with proof of stake in that you can't secure value greater than the stake that you're staking, right? So, if you're trying to tokenize assets, you can't tokenize anything greater than the value that you're actually staking.
I disagree with that entirely.
But the stake is what the valuable bit, and if you can decide to effectively lose your stake in order to gain the thing that's higher value, then game over.
I hear you, and in theory what you're saying makes a little bit of sense, but in reality it doesn't. So I'll give you an example of this. I'll prove it with reality. Tether is worth billions and billions and billions of dollars. Shitloads. It's actually the most traded, quote, cryptocurrency. It's not even a fucking cryptocurrency. It's just a private database with admin keys. But they do it on the blockchain. Okay, cool. It's the most traded volume of any crypto ever. It stores billions and billions and billions of dollars, and they actually have billions of dollars in the bank. I don't know if it's 100% collateralized, but even if it ain't, there's fucking billions and billions of dollars in somebody's bank account for that. So they used to run entirely on the Omni network, and the Omni network was worth fucking nothing. The Omni network did like $100 a day of volume, sometimes $600 a day of volume. Yet that piece of shit valueless network supported a multi-billion-dollar project with no problems.
Yeah, but so Omni was proof of work, not proof of stake.
Sure. So I have
my point was about proof of stake networks not being able to secure more because you need the stake to be worth more than the thing you're securing.
No, but it's the same. It's the same exact mechanic. Proof and work and proof of work and
proof of stake are very different.
No,
they work very differently. I'm afraid. Sorry.
Yeah, they work very differently, but they. Okay, all blockchains are socially enforced. Period.
Yeah.
Okay, and the reason for that is because a blockchain doesn't know what its actual block weight is. And so if you didn't understand block weight and the actual energy cost that goes into these things, you might think the longest chain always wins because the code says the longest chain always wins. And so when you have a contentious hard fork like BSV versus BCH, or lightly, they had replay protection, so it wasn't that contentious, BCH versus Bitcoin, only a human outside the network can go and look at the two chains and go, okay, this one is authoritative because there's more weight to the chain, even though the chain is shorter.
It's not the length of the chain, it's the amount of work that is done on that chain.
Right.
It's
exactly.
It's the chain with the amount of work. But you're right in that you have, if you've got a fork, I mean, look at BCH versus Bitcoin, which is the real Bitcoin, right? Now that's a social construct, right? That is entirely a social construct as to which one people think is the real Bitcoin.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
This is all blockchains are in the end socially enforced.
Yeah. And this is how you upgrade the network as well.
The majority of the participants want, right?
Yep.
So if the majority of the participants want something, then that is what will happen. Right?
And every hard fork is social consensus enforcing an entirely new network that is inconsistent and incompatible with the previous network.
Right.
And these happen all the time, and it works fine. So if you're in a world where everything is actually just socially enforced anyway, then a lot of these like magic parameters don't actually matter, right? So like double spending. If someone, imagine what it takes to actually, so why do we almost never see double spends? Because they're actually very hard to be profitable. You have to buy some coin that you're then going to devalue by attacking the security of the networking, making it seem less secure. And then you have to find somebody that's willing to accept that coin from you, usually in exchange for value. And then you have to try and double spend it someplace else using a reorg or hoping they didn't wait for enough confirmations or an eclipse attack if you're on like a small enough network, which Bitcoin isn't. So like they almost never ever happen. But you would think, and what does happen? There's bugs all the time that come from shit that has nothing to do with hashing. So there's been inflation bugs in the following coins: XLM, Monero, Bytecoin, Bitcoin twice, Ravencoin. I could go down a fucking list. The most prevalent and dangerous bug in all of cryptocurrency is the inflation bug, where anyone can mint as many free coins as they want, and it happens over and over and over again. And you know what solves it? Modularity. And guess what modularity is? HEX. Our consensus code that decides when supply can be inflated and whom is allowed to inflate it is locked and isolated and unchangeable, and therefore very hard to fuck up when you're upgrading the rest of the network.